All right, guys, this is a very, very special episode of what we do because we are going to be discussing something, well, a bit controversial. And that's because it is something we should be discussing. It is a very relevant topic today. And since we respect Ifa as a good source of guidance, why not ask Ifa certain things? We're going to be talking about homosexuality. We're not just going to be talking about it very carelessly. We're going to be consulting a very respected Babalawo, who is not just a Babalawo, but also a singer. Shubon, I would like him to introduce himself to all of us.
Okay. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, good night. Wherever you're watching us from. My name is Ifagbenuṣọla, Owomide, and like you said, you can call me a singer, but I'm more of an archive keeper because I do not see those songs as my songs. They are songs of the Orisha. They belong to the Orisha. I just archive them so that we don't lose them. So yeah, and I'm also a Babalawo, right? And Ifa is my religion, and also a practicing one. So yeah.
Thank you very much. And by the way, those songs have really, really blessed me.
Yeah.
I like to listen to your songs a lot, a lot. And I think there's one or two things we're going to be doing together when it comes to song. So we want to discuss something very important. I've had a lot of people ask me questions around it. I think many homes are now experiencing it, and so they just want to know how to go about it. And we want to know how we should take it, what we should even understand by it. In fact, does Ifa talk about homosexuality at all, whether directly or indirectly?
This is a very, very serious and delicate topic in our community today. So let me remove this thing to show you how serious this really is. And yeah, I for one, I've been asked this question a lot of times. Last time I was in Mexico, while I was in Spain. And I've always been given the same reply, the same response. Yes, Ifa talks about homosexuality in different odus. We have it in Ogundaofun. We also have it in another odu, Irosunya Irete. And different odus. And at the end of the day, you realize that they have different odus, but it's still and also in Irosunya. So they have similar and almost the same verse, almost the same Ifa verse that talks about them. But one thing that we really need to understand is that we do not have homosexuality in Yoruba culture. It is not. It was never part of our culture. So a man and a man having sexual intercourse or coming together to be husband and husband, or two women coming together is not in our culture. It is alien to us. But yes, Ifa talks about it in some Odu.
So what is Ifa's stand regarding it? Yes, I understand you have said it's not in our culture, but what is Ifa's own explicit position regarding homosexuality?
When we want to talk about Ifa's stand on homosexuality, I am going to cite one example first, before we now talk about what Ifa said. So when Ifa, let's be honest with each other, Ifa had practically talked about everything that is happening today, that will happen tomorrow, and all of that. But how does Ifa talks about it? When Ifa wanted to talk about polygamy, I think you've used it in one of your videos. It was beautiful. So Ifa would tell you this thing. It is because at the end of the day, if our religion is not like the Christian and all of that, I will tell you,
this is not dogmatic.
It is some forces that is pushing you to do something wrong, and it is the God that is pushing you to do something right. No. In Ifa, we believe every action, and in action you took those actions because you want to take them. You were aware. Were you not aware?
Ifa just tells you what is involved.
If I just tell you, if you take this part, this is the solution. This is the result. This is the repercussion. For example, Oyakumeji, ọ̀kan ṣoṣo poro lóbìnrin dùn mọ́ lọ́wọ́. If I said, if you want to enjoy your life as a man, and if you want your wife to enjoy her life too, you should have just one wife. But if I now further tó bá di méjì, a di tó bá di mẹ́ta, a dẹ̀ tàntúlé, tó bá di mẹ́rin, a di ìgbà tó rin mi mú rí ọ, tó bá di márùn. If I now further explain that even if you have up to 5, 6, it will turn to wickedness. They will start fighting each other. They will start blaming themselves. Why is our husband having more women? And there will be chaos. Oromila had more than 16 wives. In all of the stories of Chunfunleyo, this and that. So it is explained that there are choices. And at the end of the day, even those choices that if I said, this is wrong, some people will still make that choice. They will choose it because that is their own life. It is destiny. And sometimes you cannot change destiny. So that this now brings us back to homosexuality. What does Ifa say about homosexuality? Ifa gave different instances. Ifa says that epo dùn jẹ́ṣu, ìkẹ̀tẹ̀ dùn jẹ̀fọ́, obìnrin ṣe básùnjọkùnrin lọ. Epo dùn jẹ́ṣu, it is convenient for you to use roasted yam.
Those are the compatible,
to
combinations.
Eat palm oil. Ifa is always speaking in parables. And if you are wise, you will pick whichever one is good for you. Ìkẹ̀tẹ̀ dùn jẹ̀fọ́, obìnrin ṣe básùnjọkùnrin lọ. Tó bá dúró, ọláyùngbá. Tó bá bẹ̀rẹ̀, ọláyùngbá. Tó bá tàkàkà, those ones are too. But if you understand Yoruba. You know what those means? So Ifa is explaining the enjoyment, the fun, the beautifulness that will come from a man and a woman having sexual intercourse. Ifa now further explain again. Tí ọkùnrin bá ń bá ọkùnrin sùn, bí ìkookò, bí èèwọ̀, bí ẹni fẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lùgìrì. Imagine you face the wall now and you start punching. You imagine the inconveniency, the pain and everything. That is how Ifa explain when two men are having sexual intercourse. If I now further again, tí obìnrin bá ń bá obìnrin sùn, bí ẹrọ̀fọ̀, bí ẹpẹ̀tẹ̀, bí àgbáàrín, bí ikú ni mọ̀ ń ṣe wọ́n.
Wow.
And if you look at it today, we have people who, through all of this practice, the contact different kind of. So, but if I now explain all of that, if I now hand it to Adria Oromila, Baba and Lori, Be Ya Laka Niyawo, if I now end it with the fact that Oromila was going to marry a beautiful woman as a man. So, if I will not tell you, I forbid anybody from practicing this kind of, no. Because at the end of the day, everybody will have their choice to choose from.
But and just know what is involved.
But just know what's involved and the stand of Ifa. And one thing I always also make people understand is that it is not in Yoruba culture. We've never had it in Yoruba culture.
Okay, so, well, you've made that very abundantly clear. But is it possible that we had people who were like that, even in those times, even in the ancient times? Is it possible that they were, even though maybe they couldn't come out, they couldn't, is it possible? But because today we have people who claim that they genuinely are not attracted to the opposite sex. Yeah. That's how they are. It's not like they are influenced or something. Naturally, they are not just attracted to the opposite sex. So, is it possible that we had that in our societies, even in the times of yore?
So, according to some people's belief, some people believe that as much as we have Ifa verses that talks about this thing, maybe wrong or right, that means people would have been practicing it at that time for Ifa to make mention of it. I don't know. Apart from this verse, I've never heard any other verse that talks about, Adria Oromila, Baba fall in love, Pelu Shongo, or I've never had any kind of verse like that explain that, a man and a man, two men fall in love with each other. No.
It is interesting that you mentioned Shongo, because many people who are of the position that homosexuality is not wrong they would cite the example of Shango, and they would say Shango was a cross-dresser. Shango also dressed like a woman. Shango wore yeri, Shango did shuku, Shango, you know. And that is like a reason, that's like an argument, you know, to justify what they do. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí babaláwo, kí lẹ lè sọ fún wa nípa ìyẹn?
So, as a babalawo, and also as a Yoruba person, and also as an historian, let me explain to you today that in Yoruba land, Shokoto was not part of our dressing. The ancient Yoruba way of dressing it is not Shokoto. I'm saying this categorically. Wow. As time goes, Yoruba culture is a very flexible culture that, you know, with time, we tend to accept things, just like we have in our language, all of these alubosa, alafia. Alafia now is now being used in Ifa and all of that, but they were never your original Yoruba words. So, and that is how we have Shokoto also. Shokoto, Agbada, they were not Yoruba clothes. The mode of dressing of the Yoruba people want is pakaja. Yes. So we pakaja. We now have different kind of fabrics for you to use that will show any omole agbole ara won oba niyen. So we have different fabric that they wear. So when you now say Shango is cross-dressing, back in those days,
that was the norm. It was the usual way of dressing.
So back then, all of those clothes, you know, men also tie wrapper. Some men do pakaja and all of that. We also have different kind of Irundidi also. Everybody knows in the family of the Shango worshippers, that is how they do. Shango as a person, if you look at the history of Shango, Shango was fashionista. Always loved to take care of himself. And even in some stories of Shango, some even claimed that it was when Shango met Oya that he started plaiting his hair. Because Oya loves to do that, and they use that to also bond as husband and wife. And that is how Oya will be the one to even start Shango down and plait the hair and all of that. So dressing does not signify our sexuality. It does not say anything about, oh, Shango had like 4 wives. Shango was, one of Shango's wives is Oshun, also Oba, and before Oya. So, just because someone chose to dress somehow does not mean their sexuality should be questioned or something.
Now, we have homosexuality, right? We also have homophobia. If we say that homosexuality is not in our culture, what about homophobia? How does Ifa advise, if it is a situation that I have somebody now who is gay, how do I treat that person? Is there a way I can treat that person that, according to Ifa, will be wrong? Should I victimize those people? And if I don't victimize them, should I accept them? If I don't accept, what exactly do I do according to Ifa? Is homophobia supported?
Homophobia is never and will never be supported in Ifa in any way. Because Ifa itself as a religion is not homophobic. Ifa does not discriminate or segregate against anybody. And that is why you will see, if you look at the way the Yoruba religion is structured, we have Olodumare, the supreme being. And under Olodumare, we have different Irumole Orisha. And each of these Orisha has their own specific area of specialization. And you will not see Shango worshippers come and lay claim of superiority on Olobatala worshippers. So there is flexible, it's very, very balanced. And that is why you will not see us also say, oh, some people practice or they do something like this, and for that reason, we have to fight them. We don't do jihad, we don't do crusade, we don't do whatever, anything like that. So we have nothing against anybody. So Ifa does not in any way discriminate or support that you have to victimize those who choose to be a certain way. You know, because it does not go with our own culture. Does not mean...
Tí bá jẹ́ òbí, tọ́mọ mi bá ń tọ ìlànà yẹn gẹ́gẹ́ bí òbí, kí ni mo lè ṣe?
Lákọ̀ọ́kọ́ Ifá la máa ń dá fún gbogbo nǹkan tiwa. Mo rúbọ fún èèyàn kan ní ọ̀sẹ̀ ó ti ń lọ ọ̀sẹ̀ mẹ́ta báyìí. Like 3 weeks ago, I did a ẹbọ rírú for someone whose son said he wants to become a woman. And if you look at it, in that Odu, the Odu even talks about it. In indirectly talks about it. And we did the Ebo, we did everything, you know, we keep our hope high that maybe something is going to change. So that is one way we tackle this kind of thing. When we realize, oh, a boy decided, oh, I want to become this, I want to become that. It has never been part of our own way of life. So it is just new thing that we are now looking for new measures to find a way around it. So we consult Ifa.
One thing is sure, it is an anomaly.
No, it is not normal.
It is not normal.
It is not normal.
Okay, now, kí ni àwọn olóyìnbó á pè nǹkan ní therapy? What are some therapeutic methods found in Ifa that can help whoever is a victim of this and wants to get out of it, genuinely wants to get out of it? Is there, gẹ́gẹ́ bí Babalawo, is there something you can prescribe of do this, and maybe that will help you, you know, to get out of that situation?
In Ifa practice, counseling, you know, going for therapy and all of that had always been part of our practice. It is today that people only based all of this thing on, hey, Edafa, let's consult Ifa, let's offer Ebo. I have been able, you know, to talk to a lot of people who do not even need consultation, divination at all. Because they just need someone to talk to. And it is in Ifa. Ifa said it also. Ìmọ̀ràn làádá ká tó dáfá. Seek advice from someone, from a man, or from the Babalawo before you seek the advice from Ifa.
Because you may not need the divination after all.
So when you come and you realize that, this thing that is wrong with me, you know, is something that I can actually talk to someone about, and you went to meet the Babalawo, I want to discuss some things with you. These are the things that has been going wrong. These are the things that have been going on with my life, with my this, with my that. The Babalawo will now tell you, and in some way, sometimes, maybe you are doing this thing wrong and all of that. If you now realize that this matter is not something I can really talk you out of, let us consult. That's when they will now. So, if we have someone like that, you do not, as a Babalawo or as Onisheshi that we are in Yoruba culture, we are not supposed to victimize them. We are not even supposed to judge. Call the person. Listen to them. Whether we like it or not, some people, there is nothing you can do. Because even they themselves, it is not because they wish to be like that. Just happen naturally. Genuinely. It wasn't out of choice for them. They just, you know, someone can just wake up and realize, as a woman, I don't feel attracted to a man. So if it's something you can talk to them about, you start asking questions. Why? What happened? I have met a lot of people that it was true trauma.
I was going to say that. I was going to let us conclude with that. Okay. Yes, I know that there are some people that, you know, it's natural, but I have known people that it's after maybe some traumatic experience, some heartbreak, and then they just went that route. Gẹ́gẹ́ bí Babalawo, gẹ́gẹ́ bí onímọ̀ Ifá, kí lẹ lè sọ bí ọ̀rọ̀ ìyànjú fún àwọn èèyàn báyẹn? You know, people that are homosexuals today as a result of traumatic experiences.
Okay. And there is a verse in the Father explained to us that tá a bá jadùn títí, tá a bá jẹ kúrò díẹ̀, ayé á máa sú ní jẹ. So, you see, if you are a follower of Ifa and you understand the teaching of Ifa very well, I think you will get to a stage where a lot of things will not get to you. Because immediately it happens, you will just remember. So it is balance. If I already said it, you cannot have a good life for a very long time and not have some hiccups. So Ifa is already preparing us. Anything can happen. tomorrow. So taba jadun títí taba ti e jẹ ìkorò. Ayé asuyan jẹ, you just be eating like that la sugar all the time ni. Tí ó wá máa go jẹ̀dí sí. Ẹ ti mọ̀ pé jẹ̀dí ló máa pa. That is the truth. Too much sweetness can kill. Too much sadness can kill. It should be balanced. So when something happens to us, not having people around to confide in also will make those people box the feeling. They'll box it in. And when they box it in, it will continue to grow into some kind of hatred. And that is what will lead to, as a woman, I don't want to have anything to do with men. Never again. If the person has asked someone to talk to earlier on, when it happens. And this is because our society also, we are not helping.
We are too judgmental.
We are not helping. When someone comes out to talk about what's wrong with them, okay, I don't want to mention it. One is trending right now that we all know. Go to TikTok and see the kind of comments under this boy's post. And it's sad. It is lion has now given birth to goats, this and that. It is sad. That's the kind of society that we are in right now. We want to have something to judge. And I want to judge here. So we need to create a safe environment for everybody. Everybody. So whatever you choose to be, there is a way out. That's the thing. That's what we should be telling people. And whether we like it or not, some people cannot change, no matter what you tell them.
You have the responsibility of loving them regardless.
You don't have a choice. You don't have a choice. You have to love them. Whether you like it or not, they are still humans. And I always tell them, does this person's sexuality or whatever they chose to be, does it affect you?
I mean, it's not harming you.
Does it harm you? Does it pose any threat to your existence? So why are you so bothered? Why are you so ready to tear them down?
Of what good would that be to you?
I don't know. So, and that is why I always tell people, whatever you choose to be, I have no problem with it. Those that come my way, if I can talk to you, try to counsel you, I will do. If it is too late, we are friends. We are good. There's nothing, it spoils nothing. What I am always against is people trying to say, but it has been part of Yoruba culture. I will not take that. Please take it back. It has never been part of our culture.
So while we have the responsibility of loving people regardless of who they are, we should not go as far as now incorporating it into say, okay,
trying just because you want to we accept it and all of that does not mean
we can't rewrite history.
Trying to say, because Shango dress a certain way. Whereas even back in those days, we don't dress this way. Men do not wear shokoto. We do not understand what shokoto, the word. Break down the word shokoto. That is it. So we Yoruba people have a culture of openness. We are always open. We are accepting, and that is why till today it is a big blessing for us, and to some extent it is also a curse. So
wow. I'm very grateful that we have done this. In years to come, people will watch this video and it's going to change their lives for good. This is the kind of discussions that we should be having, and this is how matters like this should be discussed. Mi dùn gan, mo dúpẹ́ pé mo pè yín, ẹ dẹ̀ jẹ́ mi torí mo mọ bí ọwọ́ yín ṣe dí tó, ṣùgbọ́n ẹ wá síbí báyìí nítorí mi kọ́, torí àwọn ọmọ aráyé ni, torí àwọn tí ó wò, torí kí n má parọ́ fún yín, ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn èèyàn ni wọ́n béèrè pé kí ni Ifá sọ. And we are at a time when our society is being reawakened. People are having their consciousness reawakened. People are now seeking Ifa's opinion on things that affect their own lives, which is how it should be. Adúpẹ́ pé arírò ẹ̀yin báyìí, táwọn tàdé máa bá àgbáyé onítọ́ lórílẹ̀ ẹ̀yin là máa bá gbogbo ìgbà ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ gan. Ọ̀rọ̀ sì pọ̀ tá a sọ, ọ̀rọ̀ sì pọ̀.